Okay, here is our little junk journal insert, or you could use this as a December daily. I just finished it up. So it ties with a piece of sari silk. Okay, I added a little book plate on here with some scrapbook paper and one of the Tim Holtz little words that come in a pad. I'm not sure what you call them. Anyway, that is removable if you want to take that out and put something else in. So there's our front cover, and we opened it up. We have a flap here with a vellum pocket here on the front with these two little pieces of ephemera. Okay, and then a tag here. I did not put a topper on that because I didn't want to add to the bulk. So here's the center of our journal, and we have two tags here and a vellum pocket. We have a journaling card here in this pocket. Okay, and then a super large tag in the last pocket. Okay, so then we have our signature, which is undecorated coffee dyed papers. There are 32 pages, counting front and back, enough to get you through the month of December. We have a flap here with another vellum pocket, two little pieces of ephemera, another tag, and here we have these little, and I believe these are Tim Holtz. And then this is a piece of foil that comes inside of a tea bag that I embossed and attached to some coffee dyed paper. It was actually the center of a oval die cut, and I thought that was really pretty, so I'm just going to keep it. And we have that. Okay, and in this pocket we have these two journaling cards. And then here we have another large tag in the back. And these pockets are a little tight now, but they do stretch out with as they get used, and everything comes a little bit simpler. Okay. So in the back we have another large tag. Okay. And then just wraps around and ties. So this is a very simple little journal that be perfect for your December daily, or to add to a Christmas junk journal as an insert, ephemera holder, whatever you want to use it for. It's perfect for it. It's not very big, not very thick. All right. Okay, so I have my plain file folder here. It does not matter where this tab is. Some of them come on this end, some on this end, some in the middle. It really doesn't matter, so don't worry about that part. Just use whatever it is that you have. We are going to decorate our little journal with the paper from this pad. This came from Hobby Lobby, Paper Studio brand, and it's called Vintage Christmas. So before we start decorating this up, we want to go ahead and make some score lines on our file folder. Okay, so a full-size journal, I normally make 9 by 6, but we are going to score this the size of U.S. letter, which is going to be 8.5 by 11. So our journal is going to be 8.5 inches tall. So I'm going to score right there. And then we're going to turn it around on this side. So half of a U.S. letter size, or a U.S. letter size folded, is 5.5. But to allow for a little bit of margin around my decorative paper, I'm just going to go ahead and add a smidge more. So this is my 5.5 mark. I'm going to go an 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. I guess I'll just, let's see, I'm just go for an 1/8 of an inch past 5 1/2 and score that way. All right. Our first fold line, we're going to fold up, burnish that down. And then the second fold line we made is going to be for the sides of our journal. And we're just going to fold those in. Do this side. Now, these journals that you make with file folders, and I've made a few, can be as complicated as you want them to be. This is meant to be a very simple journal. It can be a journal. It can be a journal insert. It can be an ephemera holder. It can be whatever you want it to be. Okay, so this is going to be our pocket on the inside. So we don't need these little corner pieces, and I'm going to go ahead and cut those out. And we want to cut on the right-hand side, we want to cut to the left of that score line, just a smidge. And that will allow for some extra room to fold that pocket up. Put this aside. We can possibly use that for something else. Same thing. We're going to cut to the left-hand side of that score line. Okay. And make sure you got plenty of room there. That needs to be trimmed just ever so slightly. That folds a lot better right there. This side, we've got plenty of room over there. Now, in the middle, I wanted this to be able to fold without any sort of resistance. So I'm going to cut a little wedge. So I'm going to cut to the right of that fold line and a little bit to the left of it. So we're basically cutting a little skinny triangle. And let's try to see if that folds good in the middle, and it does. So we're set for all the folding. Okay. And this is all we cut off. All right, so now I'm gonna, before we add our paper down, I want to reinforce this spine area. So I'm going to use some sports tape or medical tape, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to start here on the bottom. And I'm going to wrap it around. Come back down to the bottom again. And then just trim that off. Now the next step is to ink all around the edges. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but I think you'll be happier with it if you do. So I'm going to go ahead and ink, and I'm going to do that off camera. Use whatever color you want. I am going to use ground espresso, and I'm going to do it all the way around the edges, down each of these fold lines, especially along this tape. We get rid of that white and around our pockets and so forth. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and cover up the inside of our journal or insert or whatever it is that you're making. Let me find a really pretty background. All right, so all I'm going to do is figure out, I want to leave a little bit of the file folder showing around the edges. Okay, so I need to make a mark where I'm going to cut. So here's my fold line, and I want to just come a little bit on the inside of that. So I'm going to put a pencil line there. And then come down here to the bottom. Now their pockets are down here. We don't have to go all the way inside, but I still have plenty of paper to cut my pockets, to cover my pockets with, so I think I will go just around down to the bottom. Let's go ahead and get that cut. And we're going to do the same on this side. All right, now we're going to cover up our pockets. And I'm going to use the same paper here. Let's go ahead. Trim that down there, then across the bottom. Okay, so this is a lot of red going on here. So I think what I'm going to do is put an additional pocket right here, and that just gives us more space to put goodies. Let me get another sheet of paper that might go good with that. Yeah, actually, any of them would go good. I think I'm going to go with the Christmas trees. So let's go ahead, and we want this to be about the same width. We'll let that pocket go down in there just a little bit. And then let's go ahead and mark the height. No measurement, just kind of eyeballing it. Okay, so that looks good like that. I'm only going to glue on two sides, so if we want to put something long in there, it can go all the way down to the bottom. So I'm going to just make a little tiny pencil mark there that I can erase. All right, so the next thing we want to do now is cover our insides. This little thing right here serves absolutely no purpose, so I'm going to cut that off. You can leave it if you want, but I'm just going to cut that off. Actually, I'm going to line this up in my so I make sure that I hit that exactly right. There we go. And let's round the corner. Okay. All right, checking again. Everything's looking good. All right, let's go ahead and cover this side up. Actually, I think that looks pretty good. It brings out the green and the trees. So let's go with that. And I'll probably have enough left over to do the other side too. So, okay, I'm going to lay this on here. And then I'm just going to flip it over and trace it out with a pencil. All right, and then I'm just going to cut to the inside of that pencil line. Because again, we want to still create that little bit of a margin. So our file folder shows around the paper. A little bit more, but let's check it. Yep. I'm going to take a tiny bit off of the top and a tiny bit off of the bottom. And a little bit off of this side. Not much, just a little. And that is perfect. All right. Okay, and with this side, we're going to repeat the process. We're going to put this on here, turn it around, and trace around the edge. Okay. Is this perfect? Absolutely not. But am I happy with it? Very. It's perfectly imperfect. All right. Now, one thing we can do with these little spare pieces that we have is make little pockets or little tucks. So, except for the few little pieces we trimmed off, we have used every bit of the file folder, which is a good thing. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets on the inside. Now let's go ahead and decorate our cover. And I also like this because it has that little cluster of poinsettias in the top, and then I can use this for the back. So let's go ahead and go for that. Same thing we did on the inside. We're going to measure where we want to cut. And I totally screwed that up. I shouldn't have cut across the bottom because I wanted to use this flower. But you know what? We can still make this work. I can make that a pocket on the back. And now we need to do these side panels. And I hope, guys, that you can see that this is not at all complicated. You can probably finish one of these up in about an hour, hour and a half. Okay, let's find another sheet of paper to use. Let's do something different. I really like that one. I don't think it will compete. So when it folds over, yeah, I think that's perfect. All right, again, we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay this on here, flip it over. And guys, that completes the base of our little journal. Okay, that is so cute. Now, I'm going to put, I'm going to go make some tags for this, and I'm going to do that off camera, and then we'll come back and show you how that looks. But if you're going to use this as a journal insert, you would simply sew it in like you would any other signature. Ooh, we need a little bit of glue there. And that medical tape or sports tape that we put on there will make it really strong. You don't have to worry about it falling out. You could even put, I think, if you don't want to use it as a journal insert, you could use it as a regular little small journal and just sew some signature pages in there. And I think I'm going to do that. I think we have enough room that we could put a few little pages in there, and then we could use it for a small December daily or diary, whatever, a planner or whatever you want to use it for. So I'm going to go ahead and gather some supplies to make some tags, and we'll figure out how to do a little closure.